Well, everyone, I'm so sorry. We are starting a little bit later. Team Liquid and Golden Guardians couldn't decide who wanted to go to finals weekend.
And Riot didn't know what the hell they were doing for like 45 minutes.
So, welcome to the Cloud9 podcast, season 8, episode 15. There is actually a lot to discuss in this episode. We're going to try and condense it down as much as we can. But for the most part, we're going to start with the LPL, then the LCK, then the LCS. Luckily for us this week, the LEC is not going on, and the LPL is over for the year. We will not be seeing any LPL teams play until Worlds 2023, depending on how the opening stages of Worlds is going to be. Because normally it would be like playing stage groups, brackets, best of 5 series, and then quarterfinals, and then obviously you guys know how the old Worlds format's been. But this year, the Worlds format is changed, actually. The top 8 to top 4 and finals remain the same, but that pre-entry in is all different now. So I actually forgot how they changed it, if I'm being completely honest here. So I'm going to have to go and re-acquaint myself with what the changes actually are. But overall, I do agree with a lot of people's sentiments about how League is gone this year. And a few years back, you could also see like cracks in a lot of these regions' armor too. LCS and LEC and like LCK's gameplay has really, really dropped off a fucking cliff. Let's be honest here.
Yep.
We're talking like weak people in like almost every role. We're talking like people that wouldn't even be considered top 6 back in heydays of League. We're talking about like people that were, I'm not shitting you guys, so not good that if you even put them in your top 4, people just laughed at you. But now those players have now taken over, and like those players are now considered like the best players right now. Is that because the quality of League is gone down? It's because a lot of the best players are not obviously on a few teams in one region. I don't really know, but right now, also, I was getting myself more watching with Brazil. I liked Furia because I liked their logo, and I was like, you know what? They need one game to get into the playoffs. Let's watch that game. No, come to find out, if they don't win in like 13 minutes and 38 seconds exactly, they can't make playoffs, even if they win the game. And it's like, I don't have enough in my brain right now to assess how stupid that is. So I was just, we'll just watch Brazil next year.
It's the time thing. The way they do it is a time accumulation. It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah. Once I read that, I was like, bruh, no Brazil for me right now.
That's why I stopped watching Brazil a while ago. I was like, yeah, no, this is bad.
And, you know, Sean, he's always like, but this team that won, there were so many other better teams than the one that won. Okay, I was going to point this out. Let's just say that's for argument's sake true. Then those teams that lost to that other horseshit one must have been really bad to lose to that team that won. I'm just going to say that completely. Like, Brazil is also in a very bad state because Brazil, along with Australia, along with, I think, Mexico, they're on, like, specific servers where they can't really get anybody else, you know? It's
Mexico can't get United States. But
because that's the LLA, right?
Yeah, the issue is no one from here wants to play with them. Hey, can you blame them?
Not really, because that's the thing is like these guys have such like isolated servers to the point where, you know, they can't scrim against anybody else. They can only scrim against each other. And you'd have to imagine it's some sort of situation where, like, people always say that LCS is like the top dogs rule everything. Imagine in a wild card region where like you have like 2 orgs that have probably won everything and everyone else is just essentially bottom feeders. Like, for Australia, the biggest orgs that have always won are what, Chiefs and Direwolves for the most part.
Yep.
And you have like your random orgs that don't exist anymore come in and win randomly, but that's pretty like odd there, you know? So like when James was saying, oh yeah, these wildcard teams are gonna get better, it's like, no, they're not. They can't literally play against anyone better outside of themselves. They can't get better by that metric alone. Also, it's one of those things of like big fish, small pond kind of, you know, scenario where we're talking about big fish. We're talking like you're literally a fucking tiger shark in the mix of like a bunch of turtles. That's it.
Yep.
As you guys know, the great white's more deadlier, but you guys see my point there, right? The big shark can't go into a bigger ocean. It's like in Deep Blue Sea when the guy figured out the Makos were like using them to get out of the facility, because remember what's the saying? What's the saying? That's what a 8,000 large pound Mako thinks about the open water, about the Deep Blue Sea. So, but what I mean by that is they can't see past their little containment field. They can't get better. And honestly, there's really no reason why they should be at Worlds. If I'm being honest here, it's just awful. It's just a waste of time watching them for the most part. They're going to get destroyed. Yeah, there's been like really rare instances where they've done something, but literally in the next round, it's shown why that was a fucking fluke to begin with. They get destroyed. You're like, wait a minute. It's like pretty much proves that the team that had the better players kind of just fucking ran it down on them. But let's go to the LPL. The LPL 2023 year is over for the regular split season portion, and your world finalists are JDG, LNG, Weibo Gaming, and BLG. So, quick little recap: LNG and JDG have a great back and forth best of 5 series finals. JDG end up coming out on top. Then after that, that would automatically qualify BLG because they would have enough championship points to qualify for the second seed, and automatically, like I said before in last week's episode, that would be like pretty much LPL has like the top 2 teams in the world heading to the world championship just by looking at the strength of the region and like the gameplay of the teams and stuff like that, because people were dogging on BLG when they lost to LNG and JDG. But keep in mind, LPL is really competitive this year. And I would say even more competitive than last year and other years, honestly. LPL is always competitive, but really this year, you really saw just how competitive it actually was. Like, we're talking like random teams like OMG could really give it to a team like JDG or LNG. And it'd be like an actual legit consistent thing, not like, oh, they just did well randomly one time maybe against me because I had an off day kind of thing. It was like, no, this team could actually defeat you like pretty legitimately. So LNG ended up defeating Top Esports to secure their spot at Worlds, and LNG, strong team in their own way. I think like Tarzan for me has been a player that's constantly never really got it done when it matters the most in finals, because his first finals ever was with Griffin against KT Rolster, and obviously anything against KT's a coin flip, as we've seen with them recently and their choices they've made. So he loses to KT 2-3. Then the next year, Griffin makes back-to-back finals. He wins only one of those games in said finals. So they get pretty much, SKT win 3-0. So that puts him at what? 2-8 right there. Then the next split, they go 3-1. So that puts him at what? They'll put him at 3-11 at that point. So he's 3-11 in finals, actually. Just at that point. Then he goes to the LPL, and he finally makes his first LPL final, which is impressive, but he also loses this finals too. He's never won a finals. And in this finals, he went, 2-3? So that would mean he's a record of what? 5-13? He's 5-13 in finals. And he's not won a single one. He's either been really close or he's just gotten blown out. Same thing with Abadage too. He's either stomped or he's either gotten fisted really weird. So because I know a lot of people like Tarzan. I like him too. I think honestly, as a personality, I think he's a great player too. He just can't get it together when it really matters the most. And I don't know how that's going to work for Worlds. I really do feel like at Worlds, LNG would be the most suspect team, to the point where if they didn't make it out of whatever random group stage is going to happen or whatever is going to happen, that wouldn't surprise me really. Honestly. But then again, I don't think they'll actually get exposed by most teams until they face a team of their caliber, which arguably might only come from LPL, or, they face T1. If T1 is going to win in a couple of days coming up. Remember, if T1 win, whoever wins in the final doesn't matter. They would have already qualified. So LNG, I don't know. I'm still very iffy about them, but they're not a weak team by any means. Are they a dark horse to win Worlds later on this year? Potentially, but there's some flaws there, but they're not a horrible team. And then after that is Weibo Gaming, so I'm pretty sure Keijo is really happy about that. Weibo got it done over EDG. And for the most part, EDG, I mean, they got blown out, not blown in spring. They were really good in spring. They failed in the playoffs. Leave was fucking with prostitutes. I don't really know anymore at this point what goes on some of these orgs. Fucking with prostitutes, shitting on his teammates on ult accounts. They throw Leave away, even though his skill is really great. I personally think you could probably keep that. I think any org, maybe in the West, where take a risk on him potentially in the future if you want a guy with a lot of upsides, if you can kind of rehabilitate him. So EDG, throw away Leave. They bring back Uzi, and EDG throughout the split, I think they overachieved to a certain extent. You know, they bring Top Esports to 5 games, and arguably Top Esports should have not went to 5 games against them. Yeah. Not because of anything bad on both teams. It's just like Top Esports should definitely just walk all over EDG in their current state, you know? But they didn't. And already you're like, is there more to this EDG team? It's and then they end up losing to I forgot who they lost to initially, where they were at, because they had the lower seed. So they get knocked out of the playoffs, and then they go to the qualifier, and they lose to Weibo. And in that series, I just remember, because we were watching it live, I just remember so many mistakes, man. So many drafting errors. Mako who's really always been one of their shining players, having a really off series. It always felt like Uzi and Mako just, on paper, sounds like a pretty good bot lane. Never really got it together, honestly, when playing. JJ has never really had great upside games. He's always been really consistent, but he's also had consistently bad weeks, like in concession, right? And he never really got any pop-off games. He never really got it together. Ale played really well, but as I've told you guys before, when you're a top laner at that kind of level, you need more. You have to be some sort of monster carry, like the Shy was back in the day, to really get your team to be, winning more games. Ale really couldn't get it together when it came to like transitioning his leads. Like he would do well in lane, but overall couldn't get it throughout the rest of the map. Fofo just got completely just ran through. I mean, he's been getting ran through the entire year, despite when EDG was considered a good team. Fofo's just not it. And I think if EDG want to do better and go back to Worlds, Fofo's just not it. And it sucks on them. Like Scout was kind of giving them a ring around a rosy, with wanting to be on them versus not wanting to be on. So I understand it's not their fault with this one particular, but I would just cut my losses on him. He's from the LMS, guys. Remember, Fofo's from the LMS. He's not actually from China. His skill level is pretty bad for the most part. So I personally would cut Fofo if you're talking about EDG. But yeah, I do think they overachieved to a certain extent. But 4th place for an org that's won every tournament in League of Legends ever they're going to overhaul their roster, guys. Just don't think they won't. Like orgs like that, they rehaul. Whether it's right or wrong, whether you're good or bad, whether you're the problem, it literally doesn't matter, And then last thing to talk about is Top Esports. Top Esports failed, actually. Now, I wasn't the hugest fan of this team, to be honest here. Yeah, like Top Esports has made some great strides to be a lot better of an organization. They started out really terrible. They've been constant back-to-back finals. They've only won one of the last, out of all of the splits they've made finals in, they've only ever won one of them. They've only ever won one title. That was back in summer 2020, back when they had Knight on their roster. They've made it to finals consistently, but they've got to game 5s, but they haven't been able to close it out. And I think if you're Top Esports and you kind of want to be on top with the big dogs, you got to get Wayward's just not it. I don't know why they didn't choose to keep Q-Tang or Quichan, Queen Yaomao and Yin Yang or whatever fucking name was. But I would have just kept him because Wayward he's just not it. Like he's just garbage. TN, he has games he looks mad suspect in. Like it's really bad from him for the most part. Like he has games where he looks great, and there's games where he's just too inconsistent. It's just not worth it. Remember last year at Worlds, they failed with him. They failed with TN the year before that at Worlds. They failed with this guy 3 years in a row. I would be shocked if they kept this guy for a 4th year. Rookie, Rookie's the player where a lot of people are going to go, he played well. And yeah, for the most part, he played well. And I think that, he's going to be a player you should look at and go, hey, this is the player that you should be able to play through to get yourself over that finish line. Rookie, I don't think had truly a standout Gauntlet regional or whatever. I think he made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes too. Maybe it was also due to the fact that he was trying to overperform for his team. Like we all know the NBA, NFL scenarios of like one guy carrying the whole team. Remember the old like Milwaukee Bucks team with that one guy? I think it's Iverson or some shit. Fuck. It was that one guy who was on the Bucks who was just constantly carrying that team for years. Many teams.
Giannis?
It might have been that guy too. It might have been that guy. Maybe you're right. Yeah, it's probably that guy. Yeah, it's just that's how I personally felt with Rookie this year. Is just he was doing so much to try and get his team to wins. And yeah, Jackie Love I think played well this year throughout the most part, but they just couldn't carry the corpses that was Wayward and fucking Mark. I don't know why they kept Mark. Why? What is this guy doing? That guy was dog shit last year. And he's dog shit this year. I don't know what is their obsession with keeping these guys. Guys, literally, and you have to put some blame on Rookie here. Rookie can have literally anybody play with him. It's Rookie. Who would not want to play with him? Unless there's some rumors about Rookie that we don't know about that makes people not want to potentially play with him. It feels like Rookie always gets into these rosters where he doesn't have to play with these bad people. Guys, if you're the main attraction of a team, the good players come to you. They want to inherently play with you. It might be money because a lot of esports teams are not doing very well financially. I don't know about LPL finances, actually. I mean, JDG is spending $16 million on their roster. Woo! Jesus Christ. If they don't win everything, yeah, by the price tag of your roster, that kind of is a failure, But
not getting to the final. Like anything less than the championship is automatic failure.
Yeah, and that's crazy considering that they've literally won everything this year and now dropped the best of 5 in that too. Like, how many best teams of all time do you know that where in league where not only have they won everything, which is already they've not even dropped the best of 5 the whole year, Really close best of 5s too in there, but they've managed to always clutch it out. So, for my thing with Rookie, I think he himself has to go, okay, I like playing with Jackie Love. I think Jackie Love played well. We need to get a whole new top mid jungle support. Top jungle and support. Yeah. The top esports really want to contest the top dogs. Get rid of those people. I don't want to hear nothing about that fucking org until they get rid of the fucking actual terrible players they have on their roster. Yeah, Tien won a world championship. He sure did. And he's pretty much looked pretty jank after that, So anything you want to say about the LPL before we move on to like the LCK?
I'm glad Weibo got to World. I'm just sad Top Esports had to miss. The whole thing with Rookie is maybe he's one of those players that people like, but his personality might not be what people like if it works because a player like that should be able to go to any good team. If he's choosing these bad teams, he has to be choosing it for money. There's no other reason. Like
the only other thing that I could say to that potentially is maybe he has this thing in his mind where he's like, if I carry these guys, then I'm gonna look like the best player ever, But you could just play with anyone better. And to be fair, they might get along very well. You might have great synergy. And it's always a hit or miss thing in League where do you value great synergy, great teamwork over having maybe lesser than good players? Or do you value maybe having that synergy, chemistry, and teamwork while also having really good players too? You don't have to have it mismatched. It can be just a solid one or the other. I think he's thinking like, I get a top laner that's just a tank player. He knows his role, And it's fine to always know your role, but players that know their role don't automatically have to be bad, Like 369, he plays the weak side role perfectly, So if he wants a player like that, then it's not going to be Wayward,
Yeah.
So, Weibo going, I mean, I don't even care, honestly. I mean, they got rid of Karsa, who I think was their biggest issue. And, they got, what's his name? Weiwei? He plays way better with the team. And I think that was Weibo's initial problem. You can't grab 5 players you can't really grab 5 veterans sometimes because they all have their own distinct way of how they want to play the game. So when any like sort of like ways to change how to play the game toward the team come, who maybe wants to sacrifice, take less resources. That's not going to work with 5 veteran players. With, I mean, Karsus had success, the Shies had success, rookies had success. Who was that guy Light that they've had before? No, they had another ADC in spring. He was not good. They had to get rid of that guy. Who was their support? Oh, it's Crisp, right? Crisp has had success, obviously. So I think getting in a new player, reset the mental of the team, really helped out. I know a lot of people are happy that the Shy's gone to Worlds. I think the Shy will start stomping people that are worse. It's gonna be that Canyon effect from last year. He's gonna literally curb stomp every single person that's probably worse than him for the most part. Until he faces someone on his level. When he starts facing people on his level, it'll probably mellow out, actually. As you guys know, I'm really proud of Xiaohu, ex-RNG mid laner, successful mid laner from the LPL, most successful Chinese mid laner ever. He's won, 4 titles, 3 MSIs. He role swapped for one of those titles. He role swapped from mid to top for one split and won the LPL. He, what else did he do? No, that's it. I mean, that's constant worlds, performance appearances, top 4 finishes. This guy just knows how to get a team together, and we both got it together at the last minute. That's all that matters, guys. You can basically shit the whole year like they did, as long as you get it together at the last minute and make worlds that can somewhat salvage your year, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
All right, so the LPL is over, and Kitty, if you want to ride my face and I can taste your nice lettuce area, that'd be great. What do I know about that, actually?
You are stupid.
All right, let's go to the LCK. So the LCK 2023 summer split is over, okay? Your playoff teams were DRX, Homolife, T1, DK, KT Roaster, and GenG, okay? So Homolife face DRX, mop them up, get the mop bucket out, squeeze it, get them out, done, easy, right? Then DK face T1. And outside of game 2, when DK looked pretty good, DK's been a team this entire year where they've never really ever got it together. And that's what I said before in the offseason coming into this year, is I just didn't agree with the Deft pickup. I didn't think Deft was the player they needed. They needed a better ADC outside of Duck Dom, but they didn't need a player like Deft, because Deft is not going to be the guy to 1v5 a game unless it is a specific AD carry meta for him to do that. And even with those kind of metas, he's like your scale up kind of guy. He still plays League as if League was like 5 years ago. Nothing wrong with that to a certain extent if you're always being super consistent, but that playstyle can only inherently net you super consistency. It can't really net you anything else. That's why he's number 1. That's why he hadn't won for a very long time, for the most part, despite winning in China. Because back when he won in China, it was a different ADC meta playstyle at that current moment in time. So I think if Damwon want to do better going into next year, because their season's not over, they still have the gauntlet, right? I think given how weak the LCK other seeds are compared to them, I think they'll make worlds. Like, I don't see a world they lose to Homolife. They've pretty much shitted on Homolife all year. I don't see a world they lose to DRX, I'm being honest here. I think they will be like your... I think that they should be your 3rd or 4th seed going into worlds. They should be, right? Yeah. Kana's so weak. Kana's such a coin flip top laner. It's just so inconsistently bad. You could see why T1 got rid of him. Like, Kellen is so bad. Deft and Kellen synergy is not great at all. I personally feel like next year, going to this next year after Worlds, so they would have to play with this roster going into Worlds. Deft, I just don't think Deft's it for the team. I think it's just a complete mismatch of play styles, honestly. Kellen, he just exists to just fucking run it down, permanently. And Kana's just in the top side, just constantly losing. Showmaker's not had the best year. I think this is his worst year by far. Like, he played better last year. Way better last year. Canyon has had his worst year overall. Yep. So they're going to be free agents in the offseason, Canyon and Showmaker. So we'll have to see how that goes when we cross that bridge. But what do you think, man, about DK and DRX? Because their seasons are over at this point until the gauntlet.
I'm not surprised. I thought DK was always the fourth best team. To me, it was always T1 GenG, then KT third, and Life DK were fourth or fifth. It depends on which way you want to, what side of the coin it lands on. Literally,
right.
I do think DK is more stable of an organization and a team because Life had their issues. It's like I like Def. I do see he does play differently from other teammates. That's why it makes it awkward for team fights at times. You're like, okay, why? Okay, Def is doing this when he should be doing okay. He's okay. You start seeing, I was like, all right, this is different.
Yeah, this is not gonna work with these guys. Like you can tell else in the chemistry and their team fighting is just not there. This is the same issues they've been having last year, you know? Now, a lot of people have pointed that out to Beryl not being there, but these issues were there with Beryl too back in 2021, you know? So could it be a Canyon Showmaker issue at this point? We'll have to cross those bridges when we get to them because there'll be times where, guys, we know this roster is going to change after Worlds. They're not keeping this roster together. If you guys think this roster is going to stay the same, you are a crackhead. So we'll see DRX and DK in the regional qualifier coming up very soon after the LCK 2023 Summer Split Finals. DRX is dog shit. They only really made it to playoffs because the teams that were there were teams that were that much worse than them. Keep that in mind. They only made playoffs because there were other teams that worse than them. That's it. They're also horseshit. I don't know why people thought, man, DRX, with Beryl, they made it again. It's like, no, first of all, that roster last year that did that had much better players on there than that roster does right now. And the players that were on that DRX roster also showed you that they got exposed and that they were not as good either. You know, as everyone says, DRX only peaked at Worlds. They weren't good the rest of the year, you know? They were good in one isolated event, okay?
And they caught teams slipping. They were literally catching teams, you know.
They capitalized on their opportunities, which is what you need to do in life. It's not a bad thing at all. All right, so Homolife are also out. So we might as well talk about them right now, too. Homolife are out. Homolife, let's be honest, you guys, they suck. Homolife sucked all year. Homolife, yes, is also going to be in the regional qualifier. Imagine what a great regional qualifier that is with LCK. DRX, Homolife, and DK.
And in the and
potentially whoever loses out of KT and T1.
T1, that's me. Okay, that's me. If T1 wins, they're in Worlds.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's Homolife are just bad, guys. Homolife has sucked all year. It's literally just get Viper a new team, but then you gotta kind of factor this into yourself. Viper willingly chose this org again. He used to play in Homolife, guys. After Griffin got relegated and he went to Homolife, the first split, I had to go back and check his spring record because I remember the summer one. The summer one, he went 2-16. They won 8 single games out of they won 8-32. They only beat teams worse than them. That's it. And in the spring, they went like 6-12, right? Yeah. So that year, he went a combined total of like 8-12 and 16. That's what, 28, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's like
wait a second.
It's like 8-32 or some shit like that. Just keep in mind, he had a really bad record with this org. No reason to ever go back there, right? He willingly chose to go back here, and it's like people keep mentioning, yeah, he should have got a different team. True, but should have never went there. He only went back for money, which is not bad. But this is the result you get. Like, everyone knew Kingen and Zeka were pretty suspect throughout most of their time as pro players, you know? But Homolife bought into the recency bias of Zeka and Kingen winning Worlds, and they got them. And they looked bad the entire year. Then they got Clid, and it was like, what are you doing? Why is Clid here? Clid looked like the worst jungler. Look worse than Croco. That's saying something. They bring in Grizzly because Clid goes through the controversies running with like sleeping with fans or whatever. I'm not too sure about the situation, so I don't want to comment on it. But Grizzly comes in, also stinks. Life is, I don't know, brings no life into this team, pun intended. The entire team has sucked the entire year. It was agony watching these guys play. like literal agony. I knew they'd lose. They pretty much they had one of the biggest losing records to top tier teams in the LCK history. They, I think, never beat a top tier team in a best of 3. They only were a gatekeeper team at being 4th. Right?
Okay.
GenG, KT, T1. Yeah, they were only a gatekeeping like 5th, 4th team, you know? I think DK were better, obviously, but you know, the playoffs will show that actually, you know. Last night we were watching them draft against KT Roaster, and I almost had a stroke. That might have been one of the worst drafting phases I've ever seen in my life. They banned 5 supports and a fucking Lulu and a Braum, and they themselves had a better draft than KT, and they ended up losing themselves. This is the level of gameplay we're talking about with this horse shit of a fucking team. But before we get into the KT T1 debacle and stuff, anything you want to say about Homolife?
If Homolife finally to get the world, that
might be a big Korean disappointment right there.
Yeah, I think if you're a Korean fan, you want T1 and DK making worlds. Let me put it this way: whoever makes it to the grand final against I would say G2, GenG, whoever's opposite, whoever's the team that falls into. Wait a second, I'm trying to see. That's me. Okay, the top 2 teams automatically make it if they make it to the grand finals. That's it. What about the 3rd place team?
That's all gauntlet stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty much just like the Chinese. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me put it this way. I think if you are a Korean fan, you definitely want to see GenG, KT, T1, and I'm gonna say DK.
Homolife, you do not want to see Homolife at Worlds. If you've been not watching the LCK and you only watch Korean League of Legends through Worlds, I know the names on paper are like, you're like, woo, that was good. No, it looks terrible. They're awful. They are horrible. If I would literally be here for hours telling you how bad they are. Literally, watch last night's best of 5. That is their whole season right there. Every week against top tier teams. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get into the situation. All right, so KT got 1st place. Okay, they had a choice of picking that horseshit Homolife team we just talked about, or a surging T1. So after Faker came back, T1 beat Nong shit Red Force, Live Assbox, and then they beat DK. So right there, you're like, that team's surging up. They're getting a bit better with Faker, you know? And KT, who's gotten 1st place, could go, I could choose, you know, Homolife, who's been asked the whole year, asked most of the weeks leading up to the end of the split, or I could choose T1, who's surging. Classic KT fashion, they fucking choose T1. Now, there's 2 aspects to bring up about this. One, KT could have been doing very well against them in scrims, which would, you know, make somewhat sense of like, okay, I choose this team. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have another angle of, okay, maybe you could analyze recency bias and apply DK's weak, Live Sandbox is pathetic, Nongshim doesn't exist as an org because that's just trash. You're like, okay, where they had a really easy strength of schedule. But the thing here, I'm not saying there's Faker magic. I think that's kind of odd, but usually you don't really want to face surging teams like that when they're actually on a hot streak. You usually don't. And KT's they've always lost when everyone thought they were the favorite, and they've always won when everyone counted them out. This is basically like way more fucked up version of COG. And by even more fucked up, I mean like throughout this like T1 telecom war rivalry, KT's only been better in 1 year. I've watched this rivalry for a long time, actually. They've only been better for like 1 year for League of Legends, obviously. And to me, personally, them losing to T1 it makes kind of sense when you look at it, given the fact that KT always seems to either draft worse against them, play down to their level, even when they might be somewhat better. Now, it was a surprise in spring for them to do as well as they did, because T1 were at their peak then. You know, T1 were peaking pretty hard at that point. So when KT almost beat them, it's like, oh, okay, there's more here to this KT roster than I thought. And it's true. I think the roster was a little underrated by a lot of people. But then you start to realize to yourself, KT's gonna find a way to fuck this up. They always do. It comes eventually. It might not come immediately, but it'll come eventually. That they're gonna fuck some shit up. And yes, they did. And guys, this is probably gonna sound really stupid. Yes, they chose T1 when they couldn't. They had a choice of not doing that, and they did it. When they could have faced Life and completely ass clapped them like we saw last night. Because now it looks worse on them. Because it would only look good if GenG maybe lost to Life, which was never going to happen, or if GenG had lost to T1. So it would prove that, okay, they didn't make a bad choice in picking T1 because obviously, GenG in theory in their heads would have lost to them. But that didn't happen at all. In typical KT fashion, they choose T1, lose to T1, GenG get the easier seed, GenG Chovy opens his ass cheeks and shits all over Zeka.
I mean, hard. Oh my god, dude, the whole after game 2, the way they lost the game 2, you could tell this team was just like, okay, let's just go home now. I don't want to play anymore, mommy. It was like that. It was sad. And I'm just like, damn. KT really chose not to play against this team. I can understand want to knock out T1 because you want to be like, we're better than you. I'm like, but if you
ballsy, but if you're
it's ballsy, but it's dumb because it's like you already know they're bad. They were bad with their starting jungler, and then
they're bad with Grizzly. They've been bad for 99.99% of the entire year. The entire year they've been bad. Life has never been considered good ever.
And then Grizzly was just like, oh, okay. It felt like that. It felt like the original jungler never left. That's what it felt like. Grizzly. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn, these motherfuckers still look the same. It's like,
they went and got a jungler off the fucking streets.
It's that office meeting where Pam is like, let me show you this, and then show you this, and tell me the difference between the two. No, they're the same. That's that and KT was like, no, we'll go with T1. I'm like, okay, all right. I understand why you do it. I don't agree with the decision. I never said I agree with it. I said I understood why they would do it, but I never said I agree with it. I thought that was just you. If you got a chance to take out the better team, the easier team. Sorry, if you got a chance to take out the better option, you take out the better option.
Yeah, and it's not like they don't deserve it. They got first place. You get a reward for getting first place.
Reward.
Yeah, take your fucking reward and just get the easier seed. But
you know what meme KT needs to get, like that DJ Khaled, congratulations, you played yourself. That's what they that's what they I'm just like, Jesus, you now you see why GenG was like, wait a second, they gave us Life? Oh man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So after that, GenG get Life because KT just, makes a brain dead decision. Remember BDD on his picture? 2 fingers like a gun pointing to his brain.
Yep.
That's the face of a man that realized I just fucked up.
Your coach fucked up.
So GenG face Life, crush Life's entire career, crush their souls, literally curb shit stomp them. Then they face T1. So we'll talk about the KT T1 series first. So the KT T1 series was KT win dominantly in game 1. Then in games 2 and 3, T1 pull it back, stomp them into the ground. Yep. Game 4, KT brings it back. Then it's game 5. Now, game 5 is where a lot of people criticize the KT draft. The KT draft is really bad. First of all, you don't give aiming Draven. I don't know where that came from. I guess he just pulled it out of his ass because he had no other fucking strategies left. I forgot who the support was. It was Leona. It was Draven, Leona, Tristana, Maokai, Sejuani. You're just like, what?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, okay.
I was like, all right, game over.
Yep,
yeah,
okay.
T1 just, all right, let's go to the next day. Okay.
Yep. I was like, oh, okay. They decide they want to troll. All right, gotcha. All right. Alrighty, man.
For people to understand this, they have to essentially win the game in about 25 minutes with a pretty sizable lead with Draven. Because Draven functions a bit more glass cannon-y than like Caitlyn. So Caitlyn, she is strong early, weaker mid, but she makes up with her stronger late game, which has more crit items. Draven is not that way unless you smash the early game. So when the castles are mentioning cash out, so Draven essentially You want to catch your axes, build your gold up, and then you want to get the kill in to get a big cash in for your kill. Makes sense, right? Okay, so keep that in mind. You have to essentially win so hard to the point where the other enemy bot lane is getting shitted on that hard, okay? Now you're thinking to yourself, okay, that would work against any team, not T1.
Yep.
So they chose to pick the most glass cannon comp in the worst scenario possible. Why not just pick Zeri? Why not just pick Aphelios? Why not just pick any other safer ADC that has similar scaling? Why not pick Caitlyn? Why not pick Jinx? Anyone that's not them. At least you would have like a late game insurance policy. No, guys, they could get completely just destroyed in that last game. And they themselves are now in the lower bracket. You know, that's it. That's it. They could have faced GenG in the next match we're going to talk about, but they chose to go to the lower bracket and have a chance at beating T1 again coming up. Because as you guys know, the next day, GenG, T1 face each other. This is a weird series to talk about. Okay, so game one, if you're looking at the scoreline itself, it doesn't really show how close it was, but it was actually a pretty close game for the most part in game one. Peanut missed a lot of his ults, which caused the game to go a bit longer, but once they got their team fighting going, they won. Game two, GenG kind of has the game, but T1 has the better macro and tempo that game. So as many kills as GenG got, T1 had a turret. T1 got the dragon control early on. They had the better laning phases. Chovy missed every charm. Like every charm. He never landed a single one. We watched the game live, remember? Missed everything. Yep. Had he had landed one charm, game goes a bit differently. They had to kill lead, but they never had the map lead, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
T1 get that good team fight. They win the game. Go to game three. They win that, obviously. T1, they have this thing where if they do, they have an odd play style now where it's not as like straightforward as it used to be. It's more like, okay, we need to essentially get Faker out of laning phase so we can move Faker on the map. We need to make sure Zeus is on a carry. Anytime Zeus is not on a carry, the team does look a bit worse. Guma, Yusi, and Carry still have a great laning phase. We're talking like they could just randomly pull 2v2 kills out of their ass. So your biggest strength is your bot lane. You should be playing through your bot lane, right? Owner's been I don't even know what to call that guy anymore. That guy's been, I don't know what's up with him right now. He's been running it down pretty fucking hard, but they end up bringing the series to 2-1. GenG win game 4 because they picked Yone. Now, I know people were like, they're going Yone for the counter pick. Yes, Yone is a big counter to Azir. And a lot of players sometimes pull it out because Yone is really strong early game. He's just strong in general. Like, he's just a great team fighting champion. He's great in general. So they end up pulling out Yone. They end up beating T1 in game 4. Game 5, T1 has they could ban Yone. They know he's going to pick it again. If you pick Azir, Chovy's going to be like, I'll take Yone again. I'll just smash you again. I'll take it. They did it. They didn't choose to ban Yone when they clearly knew that GenG was going to pick it. Don't tell me. People are like, how would you know they're going to pick it? They definitely played it in scrims. It definitely probably played very well. I don't know how in the world they wouldn't ban it. Gumusi goes 80 Kaisa. I think he should have went the AP route. And essentially, they have one team fight around the Dragon Pit, and then it's GenG series. And GenG, with that win, qualifies for the 2023 League of Legends World Championship. So, yeah, proud of the boys, got to the finals, but it's not over yet. Still have to win one more best of 5. And at this point now, it's basically just a reverse scenario of last spring, where instead of T1 being in the finals, it's the telecom war to see who makes it to the finals now. So one of two things are going to happen. KT will have made their first final in 2022, 2019. They haven't made a final since summer 2018. They haven't made the finals in like 4 years, okay? So either KT makes their first finals in about 4 years, or it's a 4P finals of T1 versus GenG. Remember, guys, the last 3 finals have been GenG T1 since spring 2022. So if T1 make it past KT, it's going to be I've never seen that happen in League. The last 2 years, the straight finals have been GenG versus T1. That's crazy. So, What do you think, man, about this, the crazy LCK BO5s we watched throughout the week?
Entertaining to a certain degree. It was definitely crazy. I'm not gonna say it was like crazy. It's nuts because you think about it, you're like, what the hell? It's just
like you look at it and you go, do KT like struggling?
Are they
masochists?
KT loves being. They gotta be loved. They have to love being the underdog because I've been saying this all week. I understood why they did it. You want to knock out the team that's been constantly beating you, but you don't do it right now. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. Like, I mean, now they're in a situation where they could knock them out, but it's like you shouldn't be here in the first place. You should be in the finals where you gotta wait for them to come to you. And I don't understand because it's like if you get a chance to beat a team that is just dog shit, you're like, you know what, okay, and then you look at the weaker team, you're like, obvious pick, and then you look at the team that you want to you just want to knock out. You want to be like, we're the one that beat them. It's like, and then you end up losing. You're like, you could have just went with the easy option. It's one of those, you understand why they did it, but you don't agree with it. And I'm at the situation where I'm just sitting there. I'm like, if KT has to go for the gauntlet, they better get to Worlds. If they don't,
that is the most KT thing ever.
Someone needs to get fired.
What if there's a world where they make it to the gauntlet and actually just completely fail out? Now, given how weak the LCK is right now, I don't think it's a possibility because I do think they're a cut above better than Hanwha, DK, DRX. But if they don't, light the whole roster on fire. All y'all choke artists. Them some choke artists right there. The last thing is, I thought Keen should have been the MVP for the LCK 2023 summer split, but they gave it to Lehens. Lehens is a good player. No, nothing wrong with that. But I think Keen was pretty robbed for the most part. Actually, Keen was ROBBE'd, actually. That's pretty much it for the LCK. I think Faker, he made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes in the GenG series. You know, like shifting forward when he didn't need to, getting Carrier killed. But the thing here is he's so vital to them. It's like, I know why he's doing it himself. It's like, if I don't do anything, they're not going to be moving on the map. Guys, if he doesn't actually roam, they just kind of sit there in their lanes and do nothing. All right, so that is it. Let's go talk about the greatest region on this planet, the LCS. I would say I'm disappointed, but that would actually imply that I cared anymore.
Yeah, well, okay. You got expectations for something.
I have zero expectations, and they still managed to fail those. That's saying something.
I'm just like this. Cloud9 better win the split. They better be number one seed. Anything less, and it's a disappointment. It's not a failure; it's a disappointment.
Right. So let's talk about the Captain Flowers drama first, okay? So the Captain Flowers drama that ended up happening because, so apparently Degon revealed this on Power Spike that an org has sold in the LCS. He didn't say who. He had mentioned the fact that it was an org that he's not happy about that sold or some shit like that. But just for the most part, an org has sold. I don't know who sold. Could be IMT, could be Dig, could be TSM, you know. If any one of them sell, you know, I'd rather Dig and IMT sell. At least TSM has somewhat good tangible history to the LCS. Dig and IMT have essentially nothing. So this happened last week, and we forgot to talk about it because it didn't happen until like after the show was over. So EG EG had a lead in the Cloud9 game at a certain point, and then Cloud9, was obviously like they overcame the EG in the lead in game one. So after that, Captain Flowers wrote this on Twitter. He said, EG lead disappeared faster than Nicole's Twitter. That game one was wild, bro. So if anyone doesn't know, Nicole Point Jameson is EG's current CEO, a woman. So you know I'm about to be saying how much L she's taken. So Nicole deleted her Twitter account. She just deactivated it. EG's going through a investigation that Riot's never told us what's really been the outcome of it, actually. So Nicole deleted her Twitter due to all the backlash that she's gotten due to the mistreatment of their previous AD carry, Danny. And earlier this year, EG revamped their whole roster. So they had Summit, Inspired, JoJo, Vulcan, and FBI, right? Then in summer, they dismantled their whole roster. They just keep JoJo Peon, and they go for an entirely cheaper roster. So they essentially just want to do what TSM was doing, just stay on league minimum salary. Okay? So they completely downgrade their entire roster, and they got third on the split, but everyone kept calling them frauds. And when you watch their gameplay, you're like, this is, man, JoJo Peon, he's putting in some work. I hope that guy goes to another fucking org. Get off this org, JoJo, please. So, in this thread, you also have a lady who responded to Captain Flowers. I think she might have deleted it. Oh my goodness. So somewhere along here, this got a quote tweet from an Evil Genius's person who actually works at the company. Yes, it's going to be a person with the she, her pronoun in the bio type bullshit lady. Maybe she deleted it. Let's see. She definitely deleted it. No way. She deleted it? Really? Well, let's see if she deleted it.
Are you not surprised?
I remember I saw the entire thing. Because she basically went, oh, just do better. And I was like, what? What
does that even mean? Just do better, bitch?
Yeah, because she mentioned along the lines of you should be more professional, do better. First of all, he's not saying this on a Riot broadcast, okay? Second of all, this is just harmless fun. This is literally just harmless fun. There's nothing wrong with this. If you're that sensitive, honestly, I don't know how you function in life, if I'm being completely honest here. But also, EG has been very silent about what happened with Danny. Thorin and Richard Lewis, they've pretty much broke the entire story. We know what happened, They need to come out and say what happened for the most part. But we know they're not, because that would require them to be accountable for their actions, which is not going to happen. But yeah, you had the EG rep lady coming over trying to virtue signal some horse shit. That didn't work. She got fucking ratio to hell. She got destroyed in the comment section. It's like, he didn't do anything wrong. This wasn't on the broadcast. So this is a completely fair game. And Captain Flowers is supposed to be an entertainer. So it's supposed to be entertaining you. That's simply it. If they don't want people to meme on like Nicole or whatever, how about you guys just come out and say what happened? How about do that first, Didn't you also have this here? How are you going to farm clout on both sides of the EG thing, man? You appear in their content before Worlds 2022, and then when the Danny shit drops, you didn't say anything against EG or any other specific EG staff. But now that it's not a spicy topic anymore, you dunk on Nicole. Guys, people, please, okay? Yes, Captain Flowers was silent on all that stuff, and that's true. This part is not entirely all untrue. The thing here is, this doesn't imply this. Where did you take all that away from? Just because he just made a harmless joke. That's it. I don't really understand the other big issue with it. Actually,
it'd be like, it's harmless to they're gonna come back with it. It's harmless to you, but not to other people. It's like, that's true, but it's like, my thing is, I need to see who did he offend? Like, that's the thing I need to see.
Yeah, and plus this is great correlation. She deleted her Twitter account. This isn't anything like untrue. She legitimately deleted her Twitter account. She is not on Twitter. And that's pretty guilty too. A lot of people are like, hey, can we get some answers? We have questions. And she just, the first sign of someone being guilty is when they leave or run away. It's that weird drama popped off, and guys, EG. I mean, if you guys know how that org's been ran or know anything about the rumors surrounding that org, basically Nicole just hires a bunch of yes ladies, girl power, slay queen, dumb bitches who are not gonna challenge her in anything, and they're like, we're gonna make esports better because the fucking man ruined it, and it's misogynistic. It's like, bro, my brains out, please. God damn, you bitches are stupid. Oh Lord. But yes, outside of that drama, nothing else ended up happening. What did you think about the LCS playoff series so far between like the teams that are remaining? Actually,
most of them were snooze fest. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it 100. These Cloud9 3-0 and everybody makes absolute sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Cloud9 is the best team. There's no other debate around it. If Cloud9 does not win, it's a disappointment in my eyes. Like, yeah. I'm trying to see who else. Who else was Cloud?
I think she blocked me. That lady blocked me.
That crazy lady.
The crazy lady who retweeted Captain Flowers' thing.
She blocked you.
She blocked me. Mm-hmm. I can already tell it.
Oh Jesus.
I retweeted her and I was like, pronouns in the bio. Your opinion is utterly worthless.
Yeah, this person got mad at me local today because I misgendered. I was like, dude, you look like one. I'm like, the fuck.
Yep, the lady did it. Yeah, because I can't even see you know, the person that's tagged in it.
She blocked you. Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, this other person under the thread, fucking 19-year-old LOL team manager, man, she said, "You're my goat for this. Go off, queen." These women are fucking trash. I hate women like that. They're so garbage. They're actually just so fucking pathetic and pitiful. Oh my goodness. All right, so the LCS playoffs. We're not about to go through the bracket because, like, God, there's so much league to watch in these like final weeks of like the seasons. You know, like everything's going on. So much league, guys. All right, so let's see how we're going to talk about each team. Okay, so today, before we started the show, we had the opportunity of watching, you know, Golden Guardians versus Team Liquid, and that was bleh. All right, so we had a nice little interesting storyline for this week going into the fact that in our TL EG grudge match. Okay, so last year EG beat Team Liquid both important times. They beat them in the third place match to go to the finals, and they beat them for the world's qualifying last seed. Right, so that's definitely pretty hyped there. You know, EG stopped them all last year, and you know it's time for Team Liquid to have a little bit of revenge going into this week actually. So you're looking at the playoff bracket right now, and the playoff bracket now is shaping up to be Cloud9, Team Liquid, NRG. Those are your top three teams. Oh God!
Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that at the beginning of the year? Now my black ass.
The last teams of the year are NRG, Team Liquid, and Cloud9. FBI, the only player from that 100 Thieves roster to be in finals weekend coming up, who he was also in a finals weekend last split. So they were the most successful, you know, 100 Thieves players post that roster that they were on together. So let's start with the losers bracket, okay? So we have to start with NRG. No. What was the summit? The Revenge Games was the TL one, right? Yeah. So we had NRG versus Cloud9, which was yesterday. So we'll start with, I'm pretty sure it was Dig first, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a lot to go over. So we had Golden Guardians versus Dig, actually? Hold on. Let me go to Law Esports really quickly. There's so many matches, like all of them in order is just so crazy. All right. Because I know today we had TL, Golden Guardians, and before that we had C9, NRG.
Yep.
All right. So let's see. No, take out Brazil. I don't want to see Brazil right now. Okay, got it. Okay, so the first match, Team Liquid versus Evil Geniuses. This match proved just how god awful Revenge was. This man is so boosted. This guy is so trash. This guy is throw that motherfucker in the dumpster and burn that shit to the ground. No pieces left. That guy's trash. EG season is over. So TL got their revenge against Evil Geniuses. They knocked them out this year. They ended their postseason, actually. So that feels good for Team Liquid. EG, super suspect throughout the entirety of this spring split. Ayla is dog shit. You knew why FlyQuest got rid of Ayla. Unforgiven never really had those kind of performances. You're like, oh yeah, this guy carried a whole bunch of games. Jojo Pion was their biggest shining bright spot for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, and even he couldn't really get it together for them. And you can't carry Shaden and Revenge. If you can't do a 3v1 top dive correctly, only because your top laner can't wait a single second, man, what? Get a match.
Burn everything to the ground.
Literally, people, he needs to wait a single second while the Sejuani was proxying the wave. Jojo Pion came up with his charm, and they can kill Summit.
And no, he said, nope, I'm going to do it myself.
What a terrible fucking top laner. Thank God I never watched that guy at Worlds. Imagine if that guy made it to Worlds. Imagine a guy who can't wait a single second for a 3v1 dive against a 10 HP Cassante.
Imagine him making it in Worlds and doing that versus Deshai or Ben or I forgot who the GenG Doran.
Yeah.
Or fucking JD or
try that against Zeus. Just see how shit stomped you would get.
Or who JDG's top laner again? I forgot.
369.
369. Imagine doing that against 369. Yes.
He's gonna be laughing. He's like, he's gonna do what's that thing that fucking Jigenda did? He's gonna do like this.
Yeah, he'll be like silly Americans. He'll be like, Jesus, just oh goodness, my God. I'm glad EG didn't make it. EG, I don't
they
know.
weren't good anyway. Like they should have honestly destroyed TSM in that series. When a third seed looks like that against a TSM that looks like that, you're like, this ain't looking good.
This goes before the whole season. Why did they blow up the team? If you had
like you said before, remember? You said it was money.
But my thing is, if you have the money, and because you were one of the teams that kept your academy team, that means you have money.
Or they were willing to burn it without caring about it, you know?
But the issue is like, because EG's one of the 3 teams that kept their academy team. It was right. Like, it's like every player you got was worse than the player you had before.
A substantial amount.
Like, you have Vulcan, you got Ayla. Okay, that's bad. You had FBI, Unforgiven. That gap's not big, but it's not as a big gap as the other positions. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not saying Unforgiven is close to FBI. I'm just saying
you're looking at the performances that FBI had this week, and you're like, you know, you had that guy, right?
Yeah, it's like okay, and you got Unforgiven, who not as good as him, but he's not like a severe downgrade.
Yeah,
like
it's
Ayla,
not like a
Vulcan to Ayla or you had inspired and you decided to go with Armal. And then you bench him halfway through the season.
For an even worse guy.
No, I will argue Shaden was better. That's the sad part.
Oh God, guys, you can't make this shit up.
And then you let Sunday go for damn near free for Revenge. You could
keep in mind. Revenge wanted to stay on Immortals. Immortals chose as dog shit as Immortals is. Even they know Revenge is ass.
And then they could have done a buying trade or buying deal to get Whippo. There was a chance where they could have like rented Whippo out for the split, and they went, oh no, Whippo, you're cool, but we'll go with Revenge. Okay. Whoever made that decision, whoever chose the player they got, need to be fired expeditiously. You do not need to have your job past this next weekend.
I mean, the org is ran by women because Nicole loves bringing the Yas Queen women bitches into the industry.
Every one of them needs to be fired. This is ridiculous.
The only person I don't blame is Kelsey because she just only gets the players that she can, and it's like, how you about to give her? She had Someday and Inspired, and you gave her Revenge and fucking Armau. Guys, there's a reason why Armau didn't have a team. Do people not see how dog shit he actually is? This man, he's just not good, And you're looking at them getting rid of FBI, and that might have been their biggest sin. Because look how well he played for NRG so far in the playoffs. He's been really popping off, actually. They had that guy.
With freaking Ignar. That's how you know how good he is. He was able to carry with Ignar as their support. It's like he's better than Ayla. That's for facts.
So EG is out. Thank God. Hey, I'll say this right now. No Danny, no Worlds. You get what you deserve, Nicole, and fuck you. I hope you fucking die, you fucking dirty, stinking ape. All right, so.
God damn that. Okay, you run Danny to the ground. All he wanted was a break. You ran him to the fucking ground. Now he doesn't even want to play League anymore. He doesn't even stream anymore. He barely
streamed like 2 days.
A month.
And then he streamed Lost Ark once, and he quit.
Yeah,
you know why? Because their hush money. They paid him all the hush money up.
He's mentally broke. Yeah, y'all ran him into the fucking ground.
Man just asked for a break. And I don't want to hear the fact that they couldn't do it. Jojo Pion remember early in the spring he got sick for like 2 days, and they gave him the days off. Bruh, you can't make this shit up. Are you serious? Are you serious? Fuck this org, man. Get a match.
Yeah.
After that, we had NRG versus Golden Guardian. No, we did we cover that? No, that was last week. After that, sorry, this Friday, Golden Guardians versus Dig. Got a mop, squeeze.
No. Now I'm up a broom, just sweeping the fuck out of it. Just sweep. Yay, Jensen. I know you went to Worlds with 8 years, but guess what? You're not going to Worlds this year, motherfucker. Get out. Sweep your ass out.
Yeah, Jensen's world streak is over now.
Guess who has the longest? Guess who now has the longest active streak? If he makes it to Worlds,
isn't it Caps?
No,
his streak got broken.
Who he? No, LCS. No, it's who he.
You're right. It'd be Huhi and FBI, right? FBI's gone 2021, 22, 23. That's a 3-year streak, right?
Huhi been 5 years though.
Right. Yeah.
It'll be Huhi.
No. Huhi didn't go in 2020. He got knocked out by TSM. He had the same streak as FBI. Which is crazy. They played well together, went to Worlds together, and now they've gone to Worlds on different teams.
Okay, one of the reporters fucked up then because they said who he had 5. Okay, somebody fucked.
I want to know who's the active longest streak going to Worlds still. That's crazy. But for the most part, the Dig series against Golden Guardians was a second place team got a chance to face a 7th best team. That's kind of what it felt like. It was just an automatic stomp to the dirt. And Golden Guardians, they've also showed a lot of issues in this playoff series too. But
I'm still looking at EG's team from last year. These motherfuckers had Impact, Inspired, JoJo, Deanie, and Vulcan just decided, we don't like this team. Like
we don't like winning. Who needs to win anymore? That's overrated.
They could have at least kept Inspired. They could have at least done that. Like him and JoJo. The fact
that Inspired's a free agent still blow my mind.
Him and Whipple are still free agents. You telling me that you actually chose revenge? You can't find no way to get Whipple because don't Riot allow trades between teams?
Yeah, you can trade players. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You tell me you couldn't find a way to get fucking Whipple? I know he's not actually playing, but he's still on a Team Liquid roster. I don't know what the fuck it is. You tell me you couldn't find a way to get him?
They could have grabbed Broxa from Team Liquid if they really wanted to.
They could have grabbed both.
You just tell them, okay, whichever, flip a coin, whichever one gets whatever pick, another one has to play the other role. It's like, come on, actually, you looked at Immortal saying we don't want this player, and actually decided you want to play that player. That. I don't know, man.
I just love the LCS decisions. You gotta love it.
I just don't know, man.
when this, I think the drama surrounding the league is more interesting than the actual gameplay itself.
Yeah.
So Golden Guardians get a mop up. Dignitas get a clean mop, destroy them. Their season's over. All right, Dig season goes like this. They stunk in fucking summer. They got rid of the stinky, fat Turkish guy, Armut. They brought over a Korean. He looked pretty good to start, but you could tell it was one of those situations of he realized he had no faith in this team anymore. He literally played so much worse each week because it's one of those things where, like, you could try all you want in teams like that. If it's just too bad, you can't do anything. It's just not going to work. So that's the story of Dignitas. This is a terrible year for them. This year sucked. They made it to the playoffs. If your only qualm to having a good year is making 7th in a regular season and getting to playoffs, you suck. Bad. Yep. All right, Saturday, NRG versus Cloud9. Pretty interesting series, to say the least. Game 3 is going to be the most hotly debated one because the moment they don't kill Dokla, the game kind of spirals out of control to a point where, like, NRG could have ended that game. FBI dies to a turret shot. Blabber leaps over his rail. His team can't follow up on that. Kills himself. Extends the game longer. Berserker getting a backpack like this, carrying the entire team. Berserker, Cloud9, please, for the love of God, give that man the fattest check ever. He deserves it. If you play like this and you don't get a fat paycheck, I don't know what else will get you one in League, honestly. Berserker, great standout series, honestly, from him. Amenas is so unreliable, guys. He's so wonky. Like, yeah, with this roster, he can win LCS, Next year, he will not be on Cloud9 playing this suspect. He's going to be on probably FlyQuest or maybe Golden Guardians or whatever.
I don't know about Golden Guard. I'm trying to think of the team that need a mid laner.
He peaked hard in spring, and I mentioned this before. I think he peaked as hard as he did in spring only because he wanted to really come out and show people that, he wasn't that rumor toxic guy, that the people that let him go were wrong. And there's been a few interviews that he's had where it's like, I'm not saying that I could agree with why those people got rid of him. I could kind of understand why they did to a certain extent. Not because maybe he's mean toxic, but you could see, like, he definitely plays worse. He has parts where he looks super good.
Yeah.
Parts where he just looks a complete asshole shit. Then I think he's now realized this is probably not all that it's cracked up to be, for the most part, because he's wanted it for so long, and he really wanted to prove that he was really a player that should have never been discarded in the first place. Got a title, got to MSI, and I told people he was playing so bad at MSI. He was playing to the point where, like, he just didn't want to look bad, and that's probably the worst to play as a mid laner too, when you're the fucking mid laner of a team. He comes to this split. You could choose between Amenas, Palafox, and Gory. I think, due to how bad the mids were, he probably was top 4, but that's not saying much, to be honest here. Like, throughout the playoffs, he's had games where he's looked good, but it's so, he ends like a motherfucker. So I don't think he's going to be on Cloud9 next year. I don't think this roster is going to look the same by next year anyway, because you can't run this back for a third time. That's crazy. That's ridiculous, honestly. Other than that, outside of just a Menace and Berserker, nothing else. I mean, Cloud9's, they haven't dropped a game at all this playoffs. They should be going for a 3-peat, actually, right now. Which has only ever been done by Team Liquid, TSM, obviously. Yep. So, that's essentially it. I can see what this is not a dominant Cloud9 roster. It's more like a Cloud9 roster that is strong, but they're just kind of better than the competition around them.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, actually. Their games do look really close on Topia right now. If they go to Worlds playing like this, and I love Cloud9. Everyone knows I love this word, but golly, they go to Worlds playing like this. This is If you guys saw how bad the Menace was playing yesterday, do that shit against Knight, and you will get turbo fisted. Knight digging all his shit out. You know. Today, did you see what Menace was doing to Gabby? Oh my god! Like Menace is a great personality. You know what I mean? Like he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
League of Legends player is pretty suspect. I'll say that right now. But I'm happy to announce that 2 of the teams that I support religiously, GenG, Cloud9, going to the Worlds yet again this year. Just gotta wait on that G2 confirmation for Europe coming up in a week. Actually, from here.
I gotta wait for T1. Weibo and BLG. I was mostly just rooting against.
You got BLG.
I got BLG, and I was rooting for.
You're most likely gonna get T1. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, I was mostly rooting for Weibo because IW was just being a whole hater on some. You know what? The shy this. I was like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm rooting for Weibo because he was just because IW's hate for Weibo became more of dick riding for top esports. I was like, okay, I want Weibo to win just because you hating like shit. Okay, cool. Because like Keijo, I mean, he does be hating on teams, but he don't be like, oh, this team shit. It's like, oh no, this team plays like shit all the time. Look at these plays. It's like, you know what? He at least he's like honest, like, yeah, you know, I might like the shy a little too much, but guess what? Motherfucker is one of the best top laners to do it. I'm like, okay, he's not wrong.
A Menace. He said that the reason why he wore his own clothes was because the C9 clothes that he got looked bad. Oh shit! This man was just fire.
Yeah, no,
it was funny. God, yeah, man had Twitch chat rolling. He just, oh goodness gracious, this man of Menace is a content making machine. But you know, like looking at the rest of the LCS, and today you had Golden Guardians versus Team Liquid. Piosik, out of all motherfuckers, got the first jungler pentakill ever in LCS history on Viego earlier, where they got pentakilled by Viego. TL won game 1.
Out of all the junglers in the LCS history, it was Piosik.
Same thing with Revenge. Remember last week? Most kills ever for a top laner. Shit goes to fucking Revenge, you know? What is this? And then today,
by the way, guess who got the fastest kills this split by ADC, or just fastest kill period? You want to guess what team he was on?
Mm-hmm.
Guess what team?
Wait, what happened?
Guess who got the fastest kills this split by ADC?
Not FBI. No way.
Nope. You won't guess who the team is.
The fastest kills?
The fastest kill. Not fastest kill, fastest kill.
Just one fast kill. Tomo?
Yep. He got it under a minute.
Throw this fucking league.
58 seconds. Man. And Berserker's behind him at 3 minutes and 17 seconds, something like that. Yeah, Tomo got the fastest kills under a minute. I forgot who it was against, but yeah.
Oh, it's that TSM series.
Yep.
Yeah.
Under a minute. And that was TSM just griefing. They was like, okay, they were speed running to China so fast. They was like, oh, playoffs? All right, cool. Let's just speed run and go to China.
Okay, so today the big implications from Team Liquid versus Golden Guardians is huge. So yes, Golden Guardians season is not over, which is a good thing because usually in most years their season is over. So they get lucky this year. Their season's not over yet. They have to face the EU 4th seed. Okay. But the problem here with Golden Guardians is you could have games that look like this today. Like they were almost tied for first. They get knocked out by NRG. Then they were 3-1. It wasn't really a close series at all, if we're being honest here.
Yeah.
Then they stomped Dignitas, which is expected. And then you're thinking, like, this team was tied for second, and they lost to Team Liquid. Team Liquid were, like, 4th place, you know? And looking at it now, they're probably the 3rd best team, looking at how fraudulent EG were looking too, right? So Gory ended up having a less than a stellar series in general. I think him auto-defaulting to Tristana a lot of times really hurt. I think throughout the year, he was able to show that he could play multiple other champions. I don't know why we didn't see that in this series. I think River has looked really, really suspect in these latter weeks of, that's not the regular season, but just like the playoffs in whole. River could have a game where he goes like 7-0, but then he has a game where he goes like 0-4, and I'm like, fuck, bruh. So, and Licorice has those games too, and like, okay, so people asked, why did they remake? Okay, so long story short, basically, Huhi took Unsealed Spellbook and switched to Teleport. The Teleport summoner spell switched to Unleashed Teleport, which caused Hui to permanently have Teleport instead of his original summoner spells. So basically, his rune had a bug where he would not be able to like Hex Tech Flash over, you know? Because with Unsealed Spellbook, you can switch your summoner spells, right? Yeah. So there was a weird bug that happened where he could only just keep Teleport, so they just remade the game. They remade it over. And Golden Guardians ended up losing. They all Team Liquid stopped the reverse sweep, you know? And what do you think about Golden Guardians? You think they could beat the EU 4th seed? Depending on who it is.
It depends on who the EU 4th seed is. Okay, that's me. Okay, let's go back to the 6 EU teams we have. I won't say GenG again. G2, XL, SK, Fnatic, Mad Lions, and who's the other team? Koi? No. Koi's out. Who's the other team?
Oh no, Koi's out. No, it's XL, Mad Lions, SK, Fnatic, G2, and fuck.
We're blanking. There's one. It's one team that's obvious, but we're blanking so hard on them.
Oh fuck. XL, G2, Fnatic, SK, XL, Mad Lions. Yeah.
No. SK, G2, Fnatic, Mad Lions, XL.
I know we just said another one.
Yeah, we did.
What the hell is going on? My brains are fried.
Yeah, no, I went to sleep early, woke back up, went back to sleep again.
Our brains are legitimately fried. What is wrong with our brains?
Was it okay? Team Heretics is out, Vitality's out, Koi's out, Astralis is out. Who's the other?
BDS.
See, you know why I forget about that team? Because that's
actual trash.
That team's so forgettable. It's not even funny. I was like, I know the team, but I could not fucking remember. Dude, yeah, that's how you know a team is forgettable when you try to sing, and I can only come up with 9 names. I'm like, what? I forget about a fucking team? Yeah. Okay, who do you think? Who do you think are going to be the top 3 teams to make it to Worlds? I got G2. Something is telling me it's going to be.
I have a weird feeling Mad Lions are only going to pull it together just for this and then scrub out at Worlds like they usually do.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think that this is what I think is going to happen.
Okay, so I'm looking at who do you want at Worlds that is not only good players, in theory.
Okay.
Who can also like hold their own.
I'm going to give my list of who I think is going to be the top 3 plus the 4th team. I think G2 is going to be the first team. I think I want to say Fnatic, but part of me wants to say XL, but it's like okay. I'm gonna tell you one team that won't make it. I don't think BDS is making it. I think BDS. Sure. I think BDS is grabbing out.
I think BDS and XL are gonna be done. I don't think SK Gaming are good at all. I
think XL is fighting for that.
I think the teams are going to be G2, Mad Lions, Fnatic,
and
XL.
I think it's XL and SK. Part of me doesn't believe in Mad Lions,
but I think they're only going to get it together just for the season, just for this, and then bomb out.
That's what I'm thinking too.
I have a weird feeling. I'm going to go with my gut on this. I don't usually go with my gut. I usually go with my mind. Because the thing here is, like, let's say you pick your 4th team, right? Let's say you pick your 4 teams. That 4th team you pick, who's your weakest, has to face Golden Guardians. Now I'm looking at
who do you think could beat Golden Guardians if they get the 4th seed? The only team I think that could beat Golden Guardians is G2. Maybe SK, but
I think Golden Guardians kind of fucking run all these guys down, if I'm being honest here.
I think G2 is the only one that
and it really depends on which Golden Guardians you get. Do you get the Golden Guardians from MSI that can randomly beat BLG, or do you get the Golden Guardians today where fucking they just draft abysmally in game 5 and just run it down the whole series, you know? That's the biggest thing here.
To me, I'm looking at it like this. To me, G2 is the only one that could beat Golden Guards if they hit the 4th seed. I don't think they're going to get to the 4th seed. I don't think they're ever going to fall that far, but G2 is the only team I can see that will clap the fuck out of Golden Guardians.
Mm-hmm.
You know, crazy too. I think Mad Lions, if they fall to the 4th seed, I think they can beat them.
It's very possible. Yeah,
they got a weird. Two teams I don't trust. If they get to 4th seed, they're getting waxed. I don't trust Fnatic, Sun about them. They are so shaky. If something about Noah have to carry a game by himself is
Noah versus Stixay. Oh God, jeez, man.
Noah should wax him, but everything else about Fnatic scares me. It's like Fnatic should beat Golden Guards, but then there's a part of me saying that Fnatic's about to end the whole series. The other team I think that'll get automatically just waxed is BDS. I don't know. I think it's like But the teams I do want, the top 3 teams I do want is
if you're an LEC fan, you want G2 to make it.
No, G2 is automatic. If G2 does not make it, just throw the code.
Yeah, like also the
crash.
Also the format, the only big issue, because I didn't know that going in. I like the format, but the thing here is Summer should have a guarantee. If whoever wins Summer, whoever should have an automatic guaranteed world spot. Not saying the number, but G2 winning the summer split should give them at least a guaranteed shot.
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck?
So basically, this summer split didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter. That and
I guess you could say it only mattered for like getting another trophy for someone, but like
that's why I'm thinking Mad Lions just didn't give a fuck because they knew it didn't matter. They needed enough points. That's it.
All they had to do was just make it to they needed to just basically get to the second round. That's it.
Okay, part of me wants to choose XL as the top 3, but part of me telling me it's gonna be Aberdage carrying that whole team, and that scares me.
I just hope Aberdage can keep up his momentum going into the season finals. Remember, they haven't played on stage by this point in weeks.
And last time we saw them play on stage, they
That's why I don't believe XO will be going. I think it's going to be G2, Mad Lions, Fnatic, and
Mad Lions been gone for even longer.
Right, Mad Lions have been on stage in months. About a month and a half at this point.
Well, BDS been 2 months.
Maybe you're right. Maybe our team is going to be. Oh God! Imagine the world: G2, Mad Lions, XL, and Fnatic. Oh Lord, throw this fucking region away.
G2 is the only team as long as caps don't end. Can we just get a cap?
Imagine a world where G2 wins 2 out of the 3 splits, has made finals in 2 of them, went to MSI, and don't make worlds.
Throw the LEC in the trash.
How's that even a possibility of we should even be saying to
ourselves? That's what I'm saying. Throw the championship points away because it's garbage. Because you're at this point you're saying just all you gotta do is just make it, baby. That's it. Just make it in. It don't matter how. Just get in.
Yeah.
Just how like some people be saying. A la Hollywood.
So yeah, guys, Golden Guardian season is effectively over, pending the results of the 4th seed. Also, remember, guys, you're technically not in Worlds until they win that qualification match. So there's a world where you could like qualify for Worlds and still don't get that. And so I wonder. So if you get to the qualification match, will you also get an icon? Because that you are playing to get into Worlds.
You do. It's because it's considered Worlds, the Worlds qualification match. That's
okay.
They said you. Is where they say you would, but I don't know. Riot tends to be a little funny with that because that whole thing was kind of weird.
That's a weird one. It's like, should you get an icon if you're not really going to be in the tournament technically at all outside of that one best of series?
I'm gonna tell you this. If the 4th team from the LEC better not be at BDS or SK. I do not want icons.
You guys, I promise you don't want to see Nook internationally. That guy is awful. Okay. You do not want to see Adam internationally. I have before. He's actually just shit. SK Gaming, I mean, this team kind of has a little bit more going for them, but like that's not going to do much. You might get a fucking win off Team Liquid, but like, what's that going to do for you? I really don't think it ain't you are going to be fighting like those small monkeys throwing their shit at each other. Because people are like, that's how you know League is in a weird spot where even the NAEU rivalry is basically just, hey, who's the worst team we're sending outside of the team that we're sending?
It's like it's gonna be it's always the letter. I call it the letter number teams that do well. You got T1, everyone knows them. The G2, then
dude, I you know how we talk about the wild card teams. So I like the biggest ones, the biggest orgs in those regions having like a monopoly on the league to the point where they could just like win everything. Yep. I think it might be that way for like Cloud9 and G2. Well, G2 a little bit more signs of that showing.
Cloud9 for the league, they're getting waxed in Valorant. They were big.
Yeah, for like League C9 and G2, at least for like the West, have this like monopoly on the league to the point where like big fish, small pond is basically them right now. And then it's gonna. You want to say a one team region kind of thing? How people used to say, actually,
it's becoming that right now with Cloud9 and LCS. It's like
it's basically always a conversation of, oh yeah, Cloud9's really good, but like who else is going to challenge them?
Who's the
and by challenge we mean who's not going to get absolutely just their shit stomped into them.
It's like Z2 last year. Oh, Rogue won. It was like Rogue got the furthest, and then they got 3-0'd.
Yeah,
and people forgot about them because now they're coy.
Yeah. And then they made every bad roster decision you could even think of.
And where they at now?
Their entire org.
and where the fuck they at now? At home, jerking off.
Watching Otawamne playing the season finals. Watching Trimby playing the season finals.
Yep.
Licorice tweeted, just won the distinct honor of starting off Worlds by shitting on EU.
That's gonna come at bite him in the ass.
Stixay also tweeted today that because he was talking shit to Team Liquid, he said the small fish always bark the loudest or something, or the smallest dog barks the loudest or some shit.
But guess what? The big dog usually eats the small dog. Just remember that.
Oh God.
Plus, I was about to make a Korean joke. I'm gonna shut up. I was about to.
Sixay tweeted, sad. They didn't play well enough. We'll bring it back for Worlds. Yeah, don't pick Ezreal in Game 5 against Kaisa. I don't know who that coach is, but that man shows Ezreal and Braum into Kaisa and Rel. I want people to really understand how bad that is. That is terrible. I piss on that shit if I see that.
You got gorgeous constant ending the whole season. Just no.
Yeah, this was so bad. Oh, goodness gracious. But, for Golden Guardians, I know it's going to sting losing like that. Close series, remake, tiring day. Also, this guy said, you are so incredibly bad. Don't ever pick Ezreal again. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. He also shifted forward into a Kaisa that still had full health. Yeah, the Golden Guardians players know they played bad today. I mean, I don't got to bang on them harder. I mean, you can see that in the gameplay itself. But yeah, that's our episode for this week, actually. Great episode. Managed to cover everything as much as we could. There was a lot of League of Legends guys for the most part. But yeah, the LCS is finishing next week, and Korea is also going to be finishing next week. Another week of final. This is our school finals weekend, actually, between LCK and LCS. And after this, remember, guys, we still have the LEC. So after that, we're still be doing episodes because we still have the LEC to go to. And for the LEC, it's even worse because like these teams will be getting on stage, not having played a stage game in weeks, actually. It's looking, we're about to be seeing some clown fiestas over here. This motherfucker. Yep. Anything else you want to say, man, before we head out, actually?
Man, oh my God. I hope all that talk of my Golden Guards will come back and bite him in the ass. I hope it don't. Because that's just like
Palafox, my boy out there. He made it to Worlds, actually. Robbed of his all-pro, but, got to manage to show it today.
When you lose to IMT, you don't deserve all-pro, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, man, you need it. If you were 11-7, maybe you get straight into it against
IMT. That was just nah. That ain't it.
Oh god. 6 always has the weird tweets. Earlier last month he tweeted 9 wins secured. Time to go 0-6.
You gotta stop doing that. Time to go 0-6.
I
mean,
oh my goodness. Gracious
he's
God.
not wrong.
He said give River or Huhi MVP. I don't know about that.
Maybe Huhi, not River.
All right, everyone. We'll see you next week, actually, on Sunday, earlier. We'll be live earlier. Okay, guys?
Yep.
About 5 p.m. PST, 5 or 6, give or take. We started a little bit later today. We didn't want to do that. Fucking Golden Guardians and Team Liquid didn't know who to decide who wanted to win the series, you know? It was like a game of fucking hot potatoes. Like, no, I'm going to throw harder than you. No, I'm going to throw harder than you, you know? But, yeah, congratulations for Team Liquid. They missed out on going to Worlds last year because Evil Geniuses stopped them. And this year they got their revenge, which must feel definitely pretty good. You know?
Against revenge.
Revenge is the best. Is
revenge.
Best served cold.
And mediocre.
Yeah. So before we go, fuck Nicole. You're a fucking dumb, stupid bitch. You should be out of esports. Women ruin everything they touch. Just saying, no Danny, no Worlds. EG are frauds, and TL got their revenge. It warmed my heart watching Revenge play as bad as he did. You can't tell how much I love that shit. You can't tell. Here, I'm going to play it on stream to show you how bad this was. This was like griefing levels, actually.
You had Impact and Sunday. And you ended up with Revenge. Yep.
Just whoever makes these roster decisions, just please, you need to be fired. I need to have your shit on the porch tomorrow morning.
Expeditiously. No, not even. I need that shit. What was it? 11:43 my time. 20. You got 20 minutes to evacuate the premises, ma'am, or sir, or fuck your pronoun. Just get the fuck out.
Oh yeah. Also, if you have pronouns in your bio, you're an automatic L for the most part.
Oh, Jesus.
Girl has pronouns in her bio. It's an automatic. Like, I'm about to hear some horse shit about being oppressed of something. Oh, it's always, woe is me bullshit. Okay, guys, watch this. Okay. Revenge gets the kill early on. Okay, he gets this. Just watch this. Okay. Sheeting comes up. He gets a kill. All right, your Jackson set up the entire game. Your Jackson set up. You got the lane advantage. You get the wave. Okay, they're doing a 3v1 dive. Okay, someone's half health. He's level 5. Just wait. No. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, Shaden. Oh, hell nah, bro. Run that shit out. Take that shit. And JoJo missed everything. And he had flash up. He had flash. He could have flash queued that shit. Doesn't do it. Then, PL6 comes and he just eats them alive. Imagine that. JoJo Pion had flash up and he didn't flash queue him. Once you see that, JoJo was like, all right, bro, we is trash. Throw us away. Throw yourselves in the trash. Jeez. And then Piosik ended up killing JoJo Pion after that. FF. If I see that, if that happens in my Soulkey games, FF. We're done. All right, guys. We'll see you later next week, actually. We're about halfway through this season. Thank you guys for your support on the newest videos I've been doing. Don't worry. I just put out a new one earlier today, and I recorded one before we start this episode. I'll be dropping it later on tomorrow. So, yeah. See you guys later. Like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I'm MSK. This is Online Cinema Entertainment, your one place for online cinema. All right, guys. Deuce.